Stand on England's southern coast in the right light and you can see France, those dark shadows against the golden haze. Between them lies a formidable boundary. The channel is at least 19 nautical miles of open water, often with big swells, powerful tides, ships and ferries ploughing up, down and across it. But recently much smaller vessels have been crossing too.
Do you need help?
Tiny inflatable boats carrying people from far away. The desperate and determined, risking everything to reach Dover's white cliffs and make the United Kingdom their home. Out on the channel, charter boat operator Matthew Coker tells us he's had contact with 5 migrant boats in recent months. He recorded video of this moment last year, a small inflatable drifting near the coast.
We see them waving some oars with some T-shirts tied to them. Obviously, it was, they was in distress.
3 men, 1 woman and their tiny boat were brought on board. They'd lost their engine, they were exhausted, dehydrated and lucky to be alive.
Were you able to talk to these people?
I tried to communicate with them, but they didn't speak English. But I did. They were saying they was from, they kept saying Iran.
Many of those crossing say they're Iranian. Every civilian boat operator is now under orders to look out for them.
Mariners are requested to report any unusual activity or sightings of small vessels transiting the Dover Strait.
Under pressure to act, the British government is also deploying its resources to find and rescue migrants.
There will soon be 3 of these large Border Force vessels patrolling this stretch of the coast. The government was initially reluctant to bring in extra safety boats because they feared that could encourage more migrants to attempt the crossing. But they've decided saving lives must be the priority.
The minister responsible has questioned whether the migrants are genuine refugees. And some people, including the area's local MP, want those rescued by British vessels to be returned to France.
That way, the migrants and the traffickers who are really driving this, who are behind this, get the message that there's no point trying.
All this is being described by some British newspapers as a migrant crisis, even though the numbers of people arriving on this coast are relatively small, especially compared to migrant crossings in the Mediterranean.
The British government says 539 people tried to cross this water and reach the UK in 2018. Many didn't get close. The French stopped around 42%. But the fact that's got some people concerned, triggered talk of a crisis and inflamed some passion is the recent increase. Around 80% of the total attempts were in the last 3 months.
Migrant activist Christine Oliver is more concerned about ensuring people's rights to claim asylum.
We should be demonstrating our compassion and our humanity and understanding rather than worrying about the very small numbers that are coming here.
Britain has a proud history of welcoming those in need to its shores, but control over borders and migration are emotive, often divisive issues here. They drove many to vote for Brexit, and they worry some when they see small boats landing uninvited on British beaches. Phil Black, CNN, near Dover on the English Channel.